The method we use to test the relationship between variables will be different for different variable types. In this section, we'll be talking about variable types. Generally, variables can be divided into numerical and categorical. The numerical variables, as the name suggests, are numbers. They could be continuous or discrete. The continuous numerical variables can take infinite uncountable values. For example, we can take 1, 1.1, 1.11, etc. And all of these numbers are possibly meaningful in your data. However, depending on whether the value takes a meaningful zero and whether it could make sense to take a ratio, we can further divide the continuous variables into two more types, interval and ratio. An interval variable doesn't take an absolute zero and doesn't have a meaningful ratio. What does that mean? Taking Celsius degree scale as an example, 0 degree doesn't mean that there's no temperature, and 60 degrees is not double as hot as 30 degrees. Also, a person whose IQ is 120 cannot be said to be 2 times as smart as a person whose IQ is 60. On the contrary, ratio can take absolute zeros and take meaningful ratio. For example, a cord of 6 meters is 2 times as long as a cord of 3 meters, and a person of 200 pounds is 2 times as heavy as a person of 100 pounds. To the opposite of continuous variables, discrete variables don't take infinite number of values and are usually countable. For example, the number of students in a class is a discrete variable. You can only take integers in this case. It doesn't make sense to have like 3.5 students. Now let's move on to categorical variables. The categorical variables can be ordinal or nominal, depending on if there is an order behind your values. The categories inside an ordinal variable are ordered, but the distance is arbitrary. Similar to interval we talked about above, no ratio. You might have encountered a questionnaire which asked you to specify your degree of satisfactory. A satisfactory degree of 4 doesn't mean you are 2 times as satisfied as a degree of 2, but definitely means you are more satisfied than a degree of 2. The categories in nominal don't have intrinsic ordering. They just indicate a difference, like gender, name, etc. Note that sometimes numbers can also be nominal, such as subject ID, phone number, etc. Between different variables, the test we use will be different. In the following sections, we'll be looking at several popular tests for between different variables. Now please answer the following questions for this section.